So someone canceled, and I get to have a little extra time for a lunch walk today, and I'm out here in Longmont, Colorado by Lake McIntosh, and it's really lovely. It's really lovely. And I'm thinking, I think a lot. My students know that. I think a lot. I talk a lot. And what I'm thinking about is a conversation I had yesterday about eating in front of the television. Eating in front of the television. One of the deadly sins of mindful eating, whatever that is. And I was speaking to a potential student and asked her if I could reflect on the TV piece. Because one of the questions that I ask people when we're doing a clarity call, a consultation call, is just to get understanding of how they engage with food in the different phases of what makes a meal. And one of those phases is what we call satisfaction, something that we've taken from Hakomi. This idea that we're able to actually engage with what is here and take that in. Can I take in, whether it's a conversation and being present with a loved one, or a meal in this case. And I asked this person whether she felt like most of the time she is present with her food, she's able to enjoy her food, she's able to engage in a way that feels bodyful, like she's present for the experience in her body. And she said, no, I'm kind of really not good at that, because most days I watch television, and whenever people share that they watch TV while they're eating, there's always this feeling of like I'm doing something wrong, and and I like the opportunity to be able to share that, well, actually eating in front of the television is not just right, because it's not like we're all just like unintelligent or somehow like we don't know what we're doing. Have you ever wondered why we actually choose to eat in front of the television? Like why would we eat in front of the TV? And what in human history might have taught us about the mysterious glow that comes from the center of the room and some people there. And so as human beings, we evolved sitting around the fire, and our social engagement system, if you look at the polyvagal theory terms, our social engagement system, which is our cranial nerves, 5, 7, 9, 10, 11, maybe all of them, that these nerves are particularly there to make sure that we are connecting with others and connecting with a sense of safety, connecting with a felt, bodyful sense of safety. And so when I'm with others and I can see their faces and their smiles, and I can see the corners of the eyes lifted, and I can hear in their tone of voice that they're safe, I can relax. It is safe, I can relax, and I can shift from activity to rest, from going to renourishing myself and taking an opportunity to really rest and receive. So I can stop giving and I can begin to receive. And over hundreds of thousands of years, human beings, we have learned how to do this in small groups, in small families, in tribes, sitting around the fire and eating together. And this was good. It was always good. And then what has happened is we have since changed how society is structured. And in those changes, oftentimes people end up living alone, or finding that when they come home, even if there's other people, those people's nervous systems are also in a heightened state. And they just can't settle together. They can't settle together because just like fireflies in a jar, we entrain with each other. And so, kind of looks like I have antlers. This is fun. So when I come home and I'm in a heightened state from my day, and I want to connect with my loved one, but perhaps they're also in a heightened state from their day, I cannot land so that I can begin to sense enough relaxation that I can begin to receive my food. And then the destiny of that food is that it's going to receive its appropriate hydrochloric acid, its appropriate enzymes, and the food can be digested. And so what a lot of people do is they'll come home and they'll turn on the TV, and then they might end up eating in front of the TV. And some people with kids might end up taking care of the kids, and then once the kids are taken care of, then they end up eating or snacking in front of the TV. And it's not a deadly sin against mindfulness. It's actually a prerequisite for being able to shift from high activation to more optimal zone of arousal, more optimal levels of activation, so that we can do the task of eating, which is a very different task than the task of walking or running or talking or writing homework or cleaning the house or whatever you were doing before then. And so people need the cue that it's okay to let down. And oftentimes the couch and the television give that cue. And I would like to think that collectively we're not lost, but we're actually turning to something that is in our bones and is in our cells, and that deep down we know is helpful. It is just decontextualized, and it's showing up in a way that maybe is not the most helpful, but it's better than nothing. It's better than my system not being able to switch. So I would rather tonight eat my sushi I just got at the store in a box. I would rather eat that with Rachel and Chandler and Monica than by myself, let alone by myself and my own thoughts. Right? Does that make sense? And I want to show you. It's so pretty back there. There's the sun. It's very bright in Colorado. It is so bright. And everything is so big. That peak back there, 14,000 feet. It looks really tiny from here because everything is so big. This lake is a little empty this time of year, so I actually get to walk on the floor of the lake because there's not much water right now. So all this to say, there's nothing wrong. If you want to watch TV when you come home and you want to eat watching television, go for it. Did you need my blessing? You have it. You don't need anyone's blessing to do what your physiology is telling you to do. And I hope that this helps you and your loved ones not feel bad that you're a human being who needs social engagement to be able to shift into a state that actually allows nourishment.